से संग ना पाइया कांदे नरोत्तम से संग ना पाइया कांदे नरोत्तम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur.
Srila Sanatana Goswami ki Jai. Sri Ishwar Goswami ki Jai. Hari Hari Bol. So, today we are gathered to honor the bigger brother of Sri Rupa, Rup and Sanatan. They are known as Rup and Sanatan. In the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, when he begins the book, Srila Rupa Goswami offers obeisances to Sanatan, which is sometimes interpreted as offering his obeisances to the Lord, who is Sanatan, but it is also interpreted as offering obeisances to his brother, Sanatan Goswami, whom he revered as a spiritual master. He was his own Shiksha Guru. Although we know Rupa Goswami as the leader of the 6 Goswamis, respected by all the 6 Goswamis for his erudition and especially his devotion and his extreme humility, which attracted the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. However, Sanatan is not a much smaller person, and both of them, with their brother Anupam, they heired from actually an elevated family that originally came from South India, Karnataka. But they grew up in what is known today as Bangladesh, East Bengal. They grew up there. And their father, Mukunda Dev, was very much keen on having them educated. And so for their education, both of them traveled to several places. We hear sometimes they were educated in Ramkeli, where later they will meet Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they also were educated in Navadvip, because at that time there were, education meant a professor. There were some schools, but the schools were always under a leader. It was not like the schools of today that there is some kind of administration committee, something like that, or sponsored by the government or something. The schools were Guru Kula. So they always had a leader. So they went from place to place, it is said. They were educated in Navadvip itself. They studied under Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, especially Nyaya or logic, which was very much, in terms of Vedic education, Nyaya is very much a foundation, we should develop the ability to think logically. And so they learned that. It is said that he also learned he joined the school of the brother, Vidyavachaspati, who was a brother of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and there got further educated. They learned languages also. Their father was very keen that at that time, even though they were born in a Brahmin family, so they were getting Vedic education as well. But they went to a place called, I think, Saptagram, where they learned the local languages. They learned Arabic because at that time, the rulers all over India, they were Muslims. And they were holding all the posts everywhere. And anybody who had to do anything had to be able to speak their language. So they learned Farsi and they learned Arabic. They learned Sanskrit and they were fluent in Bengali. So they went from place to place in their youth, and then finally they settled. They were living in Ramkeli peacefully as Brahmanas, performing their religious duties. And both of them were very devoted, Rupa and Sanatana. They were very, very devoted to Krishna. But as we know, what came their way is that somehow they were too great to remain unseen. At that time, the governor of Bengal, we know all his name. His name was the Nawab, that's his title. He was Hussain Shah, and he was feared. He was a very fearsome person. So it is said that the way they met is that Hussain Shah had ordered the construction of a tower. At that time, the kings and all, they would always build towers like, you could have maybe another name for it, but some tower where they can climb high and they can see far away around their capital. So he had a tower like that made, and the person who was managing, the mystery type of person who was managing the construction, when it was almost finished, Hussain Shah was very pleased with all this. Looks like a good tower, tall tower. And so he decided to visit the tower, and he climbed at the top with the person, the engineer actually, who was directing the construction. They climbed at the top, and Hussain Shah at first was very pleased. And he told this man that I will give you a reward. I'll give you a reward because you have made such a nice tower. But that unfortunate man, instead of just taking the reward silently, he ventured to say, oh yes, very good tower. I can make even better. So Hussain Shah became red angry. You can make better? For whom? For another king? If you can make better, why you made worse for me? So guess what he did? Pushed him off. He pushed him off the tower. And then he went and he died. So then after that, just to let you know how he was as a person, Hussain Shah. He was feared. He was a very fearsome person. And so then after that, the tower was not getting completed because the head had lost his head. So, and then he called somebody whose name I forgot. He called someone to ask. Something had to be done to complete that tower. So there was some town not far away where which was known for having very expert mysteries, those who do the construction. So somehow he called that man and he told him to go, but he didn't. He was in the process of telling him, you go to Morobad or someplace like that. You go to that place and get, expert mysteries who can finish this tower. But before he could speak about the purpose, one of his assistants came and diverted the conversation. And the other man didn't dare ask the question, what for I should go there? He only heard where he should go, but he couldn't hear what for. Right? So, and he didn't dare after what happened to the previous one. He just told, anyway, he told me to go there, I better do what he says. So he went, and then he was roaming around, not knowing what to do. He was somehow puzzled, what am I supposed to do here, And somehow or other the news came to Sanatan, to Rupa and Sanatan, that there was this man who came from the capital, and he was roaming aimlessly and getting very worked up, So Sanatan, who had heard of what happened, he kind of connected the dots. And when he came to know that the man had come without knowing his purpose, he connected the dots, that this is the place where there are mysteries, expert, and there is a tower to finish over there. So he told him, you gather a bunch of good mysteries and bring them back to Hussain Shah. And the man did that, and Hussain Shah was very pleased. But he remembered that I didn't tell him. So he's not that smart. How could he figure it out that this is what we wanted? And so he told him, oh, you have done well. How did you figure it out that you had to bring mysteries? He said, oh, it's not me. I met someone there. That time, Amar and Santosh, that was the names of Rupa and Sanatan. So he told him that I met two brothers, and it is attributed to Sanatan, that he gave that advice. So then Hussain Shah thought that this is a very intelligent person, so let me get them. Let me get them to help me rule the kingdom. Because imagine that the Muslims, they were ruling, but they were minority. The majority were Hindus. So it was not so easy to rule. And they were always trying to get people. They knew there is this Brahminical community amongst the Hindus that's very intelligent. So they were always trying to get intelligent men to join. So Hussain Shah, not that he made a gentle proposal, he told them that it's either, he sent his men to their village, and he said that it's either you come and you serve Hussain Shah, or your entire village, gone, done. No need of tower. We will just chop them one after the next. So for the sake of the protection of the community, Rupa and Sanatan, they accepted that task. And Hussain Shah was very impressed with Sanatan. And he gave him the highest post in his government, which was Prime Minister. He was the Sarkar Malik. He was the Prime Minister, which means that actually what was happening is that Hussain Shah was ruling the kingdom together as a team with Sanatan and with Rupa. They were not just assistants. Three of them were ruling the kingdom. So, and Hussain Shah was very pleased with them, and it was very difficult for Sanatan and for his brother Rupa, because they had to work with the Muslim rulers. It is said that they had to wear the Muslim dress. During the day they were dressed like Muslims, and in the evening when they would go back, and Hussain Shah had given them so much wealth. They had palaces. And in the evening, when they would go back, they would immediately take a bath, like really like a bath, like purifying bath. And then they would wear their tilak and their dhotis, and they would engage in spiritual activities, religious activities. It is said in Ramkeli, that they had actually reproduced Vrindavan there. They had dug out kunds like Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, and they were very much absorbed. They had many Brahmins that they maintained. They maintained many Brahmanas with whom they discussed Krishna consciousness. Sanatana Goswami was particularly fond of reading Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said that when he was young, he had a dream. And in a dream, he saw a young boy gifting him Srimad Bhagavatam. And when he woke up in the morning, very soon after, the same person he saw in his dream came factually and gifted him the Bhagavatam. So he understood this was not an ordinary occurrence, that first he saw the Bhagavatam in his dream, and then the Bhagavatam came. So from that time he became very, very, very devoted to the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. And he wrote commentary, full commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was very absorbed. And it went on like this for quite some years. It is said that, they were in their 40s, nearing 50 years old when they were in those positions. They were not young. They were like mature men. When they came to Vrindavan, that's why when we see the representations of the 6 Goswamis, we always see that Rupa and Sanatana, they look older in some of the paintings. Jiva was much younger, Gopal Bhatta was much younger. But Rupa and Sanatana, by the time they reached Vrindavan, they were over 50 years old. So they worked for this Hussain Shah, and Sanatana Goswami was particularly close to Hussain Shah, being the prime minister. And both of them, they were kind of barely tolerating the situation, because they had to support so many awful activities of Hussain Shah's rule. And at some point, already they had heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and both of them, Rupa and Sanatana, they were sending him letters through messengers. And you know what Mahaprabhu had answered at some point? He had told them that you will soon be delivered, but for the time being, you continue. And you continue in your occupations. And he gave an analogy. Anyone remembers that analogy? Just work very, very diligently, so not to give any doubt to the Shah that your mind is somewhere else, And because Hussain Shah was afraid of political alliances. And he was into like somebody's going to overthrow him, that they could like build an army and go against him. That's kind of thought that he was having. So they should not show that they are actually connecting with someone else and all. So he told them, Mahaprabhu, that you continue to do your duties just as a wife who has a lover, a paramour. She's having some kind of connection outside of her married life. So what she will do, naturally she doesn't want to be found out. So she will work very diligently. Everything will be done so pakka, so well, that the husband will be very pleased. And he will never think. But actually what is happening, while she's doing all her housework and everything, while she's serving her husband, her mind is on her lover. And she's only thinking, husband leaving at 4, me leaving at 4:05. She's always thinking, when will I meet him? When are we going to be together? When I meet him? So this is the advice that he had given them, and they were going like that. But it became more and more and more and more difficult. And Sanatana Goswami at some point got really, really fed up. And one time when he got really fed up was that I think maybe Rupa had Rupa had not left. Sanatana got very fed up when Hussain Shah, with his armies, he attacked King Prataparudra of Orissa. He went to conquer Orissa. And hello. He went to conquer Orissa, and doing so, he destroyed everything on the way, especially what would he destroy? All the temples. All the Hindu temples were destroyed during this conquest. So Sanatana Goswami, when it came to that, he was completely upset. Totally upset. That's when he actually decided that I'm done. And he stopped his service. So, Rupa Goswami left before him. Why he left before him? It is said, in one sense, the biggest responsibility was with Sanatana. He was the prime minister. So he had Rupa leave first. And he was jailed. So he was put into the jail by Hussain Shah when he stopped his activities. He declared that he was sick. But when Hussain Shah sent his men to verify, they found him amidst an assembly of Brahmanas discussing the Bhagavatam, and he looked absolutely fine. So he was jailed. And the war with Orissa was going on, and at some point, the Hussain Shah, he lost some battles. He lost. So he came back, and he wanted Sanatana to get out of the jail and actually be with him in the offensive against Prataparudra. So that's Sanatana Goswami. Already the first time when he had told him, okay, you give up this so-called sickness and you serve, Sanatana had said, no. So he was jailed. The second time he came back, took him out of the jail, and again asked him, did you come with me to Orissa? Together we can win. Because he knew Sanatana is so intelligent. He will know the strategy. But Sanatana said, no. I have only one master, and that's not you. He was brave. But somehow Hussain Shah did not kill him. He just threw him back in the jail. And Sanatana began to lament, how long am I going to be here? I wanted to serve Mahaprabhu. The two brothers, they had actually met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at some point. Mahaprabhu was at that time living in Jagannath Puri, he had taken sannyas, and he always wanted to go to Vrindavan. So one time he had left Jagannath Puri, followed by many, many, many thousands of people. And he started on his way, towards the west. And when he was supposed to go and start going through the Jarikanda forest, suddenly he went the other way. And he started going north. Everybody was wondering what's happening. We were going to Vrindavan, now where are we going? And he didn't say anything, but he went to Ramkeli. So it is very amazing how it is said that usually it is the devotees who go see the Lord. But in this case, the Lord went to see his devotees. By being attracted, first of all, they are his eternal associates. He had a mission for them. And he was attracted by their devotion. They were, on the level of bhava bhakti, and they were completely dedicated to Krishna. So, to make it brief, at that time when they met him, they disguised themselves when he came to Ramkeli. They came to know, they disguised themselves as ordinary people, and they went to meet him. And at that time, it is said that's the time when he accepted them. And he changed their name. He gave them the name Rupa and Sanatana. Gave them the name. So, and Mahaprabhu had told them at that time that they will be delivered someday. So while Sanatan was in the jail, he was lamenting that my life is being wasted now. I'm supposed to serve the mission of Mahaprabhu, and my life is getting wasted. So as he was thinking in this way, he got a secret letter. Some letter came and landed in his cell. And that was from whom? Rupa. It is from his brother, who told him that I managed to escape. And he was way gone. He was like far away with Anupam. And he also informed him that Mahaprabhu has again left Puri. He's on his way to Vrindavan. And he also told him that I've left some money with a shopkeeper. So somehow you get that money and bribe the jailkeeper and get out. So Sanatan did that somehow or other, because the jailkeeper was very scared. Of whom? Of Hussain Shah. He told him, you tell him that you let me out with the chains. He had chains on the feet. You let me out with the chains to go pass next to the Ganga. And I committed suicide by jumping in the Ganga with the chains and everything. I died. That's what you have to tell him. And somehow he agreed, and Sanatan escaped with a servant, Ishana. He escaped with a servant. So this is the beginning of the service of Sanatana Goswami to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He will meet Mahaprabhu in Varanasi, and then he will go to Vrindavan. And mostly Rupa and Sanatan will spend the rest of their life in Vrindavan. Only one time they will come out to visit Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. First, this Rupa Goswami went for about 10 months. He went, and then Mahaprabhu told him, now you go back and send your brother. So when he returned to Vrindavan, then Sanatan went. He stayed for almost a year in Puri, taking instructions. All these instructions are known as the Sanatan Shiksha and the Rupa Shiksha in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mahaprabhu taught them everything about devotional service. And they spent their life mostly, as we know, in Vrindavan. Their mission was the same. Establish temples. Sanatana Goswami established the Madan Mohan temple, and write shastras based on the references that they would gather from many, many literatures. And they also had to identify the pastime places of the Lord, and in general preach Krishna consciousness. So Sanatan stayed like that. And by the time he was 90 years old, very old, they lived quite old. By the time Sanatan was 90 years old, he was living in Govardhan. And he was doing Govardhan Parikrama, every day. There are many devotees still today. They do, some of them, they even do twice a day. Whoop, whoop, go very fast. So by the time he was 90, Sanatan could barely walk. And sometimes he would actually fall on the road. People had to help him, but he wouldn't give up his vow. So Krishna, Madan Mohan, appeared to him a couple of times, telling him that don't do it, but he wouldn't listen, until he could really not do it. And the Lord gave him, he stood on a Shila, a big Govardhan Shila, and it's about big like this. We see it in the Radha Damodar temple. And there's a footprint of the Lord, footprint of his flute, a print of his flute, a print of his stick. And he told him, you do 4 times parikrama around this Shila, that's enough, it will count. So he did that. He was living in Chakleshwar, Manasi Ganga. He was living there. It is said by the blessings of Chakleshwar, Shiva, no mosquitoes would bother him. And he was doing his bhajan there. Towards the end of his life, he just stayed there. He was doing parikrama, and he was sitting. Initially, he was just sitting on the bank of Manasi Ganga. But the Lord inspired the local Brijvasis, the local devotees, to build him a kutir. So finally, he resided in a little kutir there. It's an all humility, not showing off his knowledge or anything at all. He lived the end of his life in a very, very humble way, completely absorbed in bhajan. And then finally, his bhajan means that he was absorbed in prema bhava, and particularly he was absorbed in the manjari bhava. We always hear that our Goswamis, their eternal form is that of a beautiful young manjari, servants of the gopis. So he was in that mood. He was meditating on the pastimes of Radha Madan Mohan, and in this way, he left his body. I'm not quite sure. He might have left his body. I don't know whether it was in Govardhan, if anybody knows, or Vrindavan, because he was put in samadhi in Vrindavan. His samadhi is near the Madan Mohan temple that he had established down the hill. There is next to the parikrama path. His samadhi is there, where he resides. And there is a beautiful murti of Sanatana Goswami, marble murti, which has been established in his samadhi there, very, very beautiful. He looks very, very present. And so we pray to Sanatana Goswami today to bless us, first of all, with loads of determination in our service to the mission of the Lord. And we pray to him to bless us with this kind of, not only the determination to serve, but also the expertise to serve. And may he bless us that we may read his instructions, read his books, and spread the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jai Shri Sanatana Goswami ki Jai. Hari Hari Bol. So we will offer flowers. It's called offerings of flowers and prayers. So you offer the flowers, and as you offer the flowers, you offer some praise and prayers to Sri Sanatana Goswami, the very beloved brother of Sri Rupa. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada
Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kunda Radakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Shri Jamuna Mai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Shri Shada Goswami Ki Jai Nitya Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Jai. Hari Hari Bol. Please proceed for Prasada.